Okay, what's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Thursday edition of Morning Scone presented by BROC Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. Need an orthopedic? Go to BROC. PARISH Construction and Roofing. PARISHbuilt.com. You need a roof? Call PARISH. Unique Physique. UniquePhysique.com. Semaglutide, tirzepatide, once-a-week injections for weight loss. You've heard about it. You know someone who's on it. It's worked for a lot of people. If you're interested, you can do the whole thing over telemed. They can ship your medicine anywhere in the country and all throughout August. 50% off your first month. UniquePhysique.com and Restored Motions, restoredmotions.com. You're in pain? Crystal Poche can help you get out of it. Book a session at restoredmotions.com. Link to all of our sponsors in the description of this episode on YouTube. Thanks for being there with us, y'all. Busy Thursday. The Tigers are out on the practice field. However, no media availability Thursday or Friday. I found it so interesting that Brian Kelly, when he met with reporters after practice on Wednesday, kind of referred to the defensive back battle these next couple of days as he put it, as moving day, kind of like in the weekend at a golf tournament, if you're not familiar. And I thought that was really interesting. And he said, well, this may not be the best analogy, but it's like moving day. No, I think that's a great analogy, because ultimately that's when either you make your move or you miss the cut, right? I mean, it's like, or I guess after it's Saturday, like after the cut, you make your move. Either you're going to push yourself to be in contention on Sunday, or you're out of it and you're just playing out the string. It feels like that this weekend. I mean, they're kicking us out for 2 days, which through 11 days of camp, we've seen 9 of the 11. We've only missed 2. They've only not allowed us availability 2 of the days so far. This is back-to-back days now. We're not going to get to see Thursday, Friday before we're back out there on Saturday. So my guess is, they're going to get down to the nitty gritty and try to start determining some position battles, because look, camp, there's urgency in camp, but not really. You're getting better. You're being patient. It's a different level of urgency when you get into game week. And y'all, after this week, you have your final week of camp, and then you're into game week. So it's like really your final week of camp is you are locking down with your starters and getting them reps and a lot of the functionality of a game and everything before you get into game week, and now you're prepping for your opponent. So you're not determining position battles the week of the game. You're doing that next week, the final week of camp. So yes, this does feel like, this weekend feels like moving day at a golf tournament, where you're going to figure out who's what, and then you're going to lock in your starters for next week, the final week of camp, and then you're in a game week, and so you're preparing for SC. So yes, it feels like this is a massive weekend. And Brian Kelly talked about that specifically, with the secondary, which kind of tells me everything else position battle wise pretty much settled. I think we've seen the same, defensive alignment, at least as far as your base defense, all throughout. But does Sage Ryan stay at corner? Is Zy Alexander ready to be a starter? Does Sage move back to safety? Can J.K. Johnson push Ashton Stamps for one of the spots? I mean, all that kind of stuff will get sorted out, I think, this weekend, because you're not going to want to still have position battles going into your final week of camp. You're going to want that settled. So now you're getting set for all the functionality of who's supposed to be where, when, all that stuff. So then when you're in a game week, it's just prep. Your starters are just preparation for SC. So big weekend out at LSU. I'll be back at practice on Saturday when they open up availability again, but no availability Thursday, Friday out at LSU. All right, y'all, do me a favor. YouTube, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. Facebook, like the page, share the post, all that good stuff. Yesterday, we were in transit, staggered entry for Drew's school. So he went yesterday. He doesn't go today. He goes back tomorrow. And then next Monday, the whole campus is there. And then we're back into the routine. I think what we'll do for Morning Scone tomorrow and heretofore is we'll move it up to 7. Or maybe like 7:05 or something like that. So that's what most of you said, the feedback you got. So again, Drew's drop-off time just got bumped up a little bit this year. So I can't do 7:30 to 8. I'll probably 7 Central Time. I think we'll do like 7 or 7:05 to like 7:35 or something like that. So, all right, y'all. We'll see. Maybe that's fluid. Maybe it's 7:15 to 7:45. Maybe will work. But we'll have to just kind of see how it plays out. All right, we'll say some good mornings here. Brett Guidry, good morning. Tiger Diver, Abner Neal, Brian Wynn, what's up? Brian Penn, good morning from Slidell. All right, Brian. David Tolson. Interesting, John Emery's back for a sixth season. I hope he has a productive season like 2019. I don't know that John Emery had a productive 2019. I mean, he was a backup. I mean, Clyde was first team All SEC in 2019. Emery looked like he was starting to emerge in 2020. He had the great game against Vanderbilt in week 2. And of course, missed all of 2021. Yeah, I'm looking at it. He only had 36 carries in 2019. 36 carries for 182 yards. So, you know, I think, John, when you've got the large enough sample size that we have for John's career, it kind of shows you what he is, what his role will be. And I think he's a 3 to 5 touch per game guy. Maybe that's 2 carries and a reception. Maybe that's 2 carries, 3 catches, something like that. I think that's probably where he is. It certainly seems like Brian Kelly is gonna ride Josh Williams, and I think everyone's really excited to see what Caleb Jackson looks like with 12, 15 carries a game, if it happens that way. But I want a lot of good things for John Emery. I do. I've talked about that a bunch. Great example of perseverance. Could have walked away. He could have left. John Emery could be entering his 3rd NFL season right now. Instead, he's entering his 6th year of college, coming off a torn ACL. He's a college graduate now, and that's an easy guy to cheer for. Matt Plavadal, good morning. In transit edition of the New St. Lillian. That was yesterday, man. Yeah, tomorrow. I don't know if we're gonna do the in transits though, man. Yeah, I mean, most everybody I think said they preferred it a little bit earlier though. But the New St. Lillian, and now Matt, it's New St. Lillian by Calici. Jared Weems, good morning. Yo, Jeff, what up, my dude? Chwalt one. Rooney, good morning. Hey, Melody, good morning. Rex, good morning. Weston Weaver, Jacob Thompson, good morning, y'all. Good morning. Eric, morning, Matt. Only playing devil's advocate. Isn't the auto group of 5 bid the same thing as 15 and 16 seeds in the NCAA tournament? Only saying because the NCAA isn't changing that anytime soon. The big difference, Eric, is that in the NCAA tournament, you have 68 teams. You want to give the mid-majors an auto bid for a conference champion? Okay. Now, I hate doing it for the conference tournament. I think it should be the regular season champion. But I'm also fine with that because also in March Madness, in basketball, teams that are mid-major champions can beat power teams. That doesn't happen in football. Like, there's no reality ever where Boise State is going to beat Alabama in a playoff game, or where Liberty is going to beat Ohio State, or any of those. And people always, you mentioned the New Year's 6 games where Tulane beat SC or whatever. Yeah, I mean, so much of that is a factor of motivation and opt-outs and interest. When one team, it's a good team. I mean, they're good teams. They're just never going to compete at that level. But it's a dramatically different scenario when you have only 12 total spots and 7 at-large spots, and you're going to tell me that you're going to give up a spot for a 10-2 power team that played a dramatically more difficult schedule for a G5 school that played a schedule against which 30 teams could go undefeated. Gary, good morning. By the way, Eric, if they wanted to have a 68 team football field, okay, you can give a G5 a spot. Gary, let's see. Taro, what it do, my guy? Good morning. Do you think at the next media availability that the 2-deep rotation will be set? Well, let me see. I want to see what our media availability is like. Let's see. All right, today is the 15th. So 16th, or we'll get BK on Saturday, on the 17th. So we'll talk to BK after practice on the 17th. I'll be very interested to see. I'll be very interested to see to hear what he has to say after the two practices we don't get to see. Hey Dale, good morning. LSU by double digits over USC. Hope so. I don't know that's any certainty, Dale. I mean, you lost 4 straight openers. You were awful on defense a year ago. You lose a lot on offense. I mean, I think you need to temper expectations, man. I think you're going into a really difficult game. Hey, Jesse, good morning. Rocky, morning, Matt. Watched LSU camp practice over the weekend. Who is 3 and 88? They look unguardable. So 3 is Chris Hilton, and 88 is Kamorian Pimpton. And Chris Hilton looks awesome, but Chris Hilton looked awesome last year in camp as well. It's just he was caught in a depth chart logjam where you had Neighbors and Thomas and Lacey, and I mean, it just, it's tough to find reps, man. But yes, I agree. I think Chris Hilton has a great year this year. Lisa, good morning. You too. Have a great day. Hey, Jeff, what up? Lowell Cormier. Matt, good morning. Jump the gun on internet. Oh, good, man. Oh, good. David, don't worry about us. You do. You, family comes first. Gotcha, man. But I appreciate that, David. But at the same time, man, Morning Scone has been a giant part of my day and my life and my family's life for 6 years now, So I want to do what's best it could do for everybody. So Rocky, 7:00 start time is thumbs up. Okay. Brett, will Locked On premiere before Morning Scone? That's a good question, Brett. I didn't think about that. So what Brett's asking, so I record Locked On at night, and then the podcast publishes at like 4 a.m. or 3 a.m., something like that. But I set the YouTube show to premiere at 7 a.m., meaning it's basically in the queue whenever I set it on the night before, and then it goes live at 7 a.m. So it's a premiere, airing for the first time. So I'll let people watch the premiere. So that's a good question I didn't think about, Brett. Like, do I move it up 30 minutes to premiere at 6:30? So it's done by the time we start Morning Scone. Basically, it wouldn't want to be on at the same time as the premiere. Let me think about that. I'm not sure, Brett. Let me know your thoughts. Brian Broom. Hey, Tom. Good morning, man. Ransom Antoine. Morning, Matt. Been away from Morning Scone for a bit because of same time meetings. Have been watching AFR, though. I may take the under on Saints wins. I don't see it with the offensive line. Yeah, I mean, if it's sitting there at 7.5 still, the under is a good bet, especially with the way the schedule starts. I think there's a real good chance they start 1-4. And if that's the case, man, digging out of that, I think is a real challenge. I think it could unravel. Hunter Broadhead, good morning. Chance, did you watch the Pivot with Burrow? Haven't watched it yet. I was talking to Eric a lot. So yesterday, the last 2 nights have been really busy. 2 nights ago, I had 3 shows to do. And then last night, we're preparing for the launch of LouisianaSports.net. So it has been a sprint to get punch list items done, stories written, combing through the site to make sure everything looks as it should, trying to find things that maybe don't look right. So anyway, I was up till past midnight last night working on that. So tonight I should be able to, I have nothing on my calendar tonight. So should be able to spend time with Eric and Drew and probably watch Pivot tonight. Looking forward to it. Bubba, good morning. Irfan Gamogan. Due for all the season-ending injuries in fall practice. Makes you wonder if the mindset changes in the future. I don't think so. It's a good question, but the flip side of it is LSU hasn't had any injuries. So I wonder, if it's one of those things where you see a couple, which happen every year, but it just sort of is magnified when they're clustered together. Texas has a couple of running backs go down, which really sucks. I mean, you'd say what you will, competitive. They're in the conference now, competitive. But you never want a kid to tear his ACL or his Achilles and be done for you. I mean, it sucks. Sucks for the kid, sucks for everybody. So, but no, I don't know that it changes anything. And remember, next year you're going to 105 scholarship players. So your depth in theory should be even better next year. I know there's some coaches that are saying, it's not going to be as good because while you're going to 105 scholarships, you're going to have fewer total players. But what were your walk-ons really contributing on game days anyway? Practice, yes. I mean, you have walk-ons running scout, which means you'll have scholarship guys running scout. So it changes, but I don't think so. I don't think that changes anything. Taylor, good morning. Curious, what's the story on where LSU's practice field got the name the Ponderosa? I read that somewhere. I think it was back from the Charles McClendon days, just because traditionally the grass out there hasn't grown too great, and so it just looked like a Ponderosa, like an old field, just like a kind of a dirt field with sporadic grass. I mean, that's where it came from. I think Charles McClendon kind of casually named it that to reporters. I think that's the story I remember hearing anyway. Michael Thacker, morning, Scone. Rather be SEC champ with no home playoff or one loss with home playoff for the atmosphere of a night playoff game at Tiger Stadium. Can both be reality at once. So, Michael, no, remember the top 4 conference champions all get a first round bye. So I guess what you're asking is SEC champ, no home playoff, meaning a bye, or a non-champion and have to play the home game. I would always rather have the bye. Look, it's going to happen where LSU gets a home playoff game. Like, that's going to happen in the relatively near future. But I would rather see look, I want to win a national championship more than I want to win a home playoff game. And I think we'll see a home playoff game eventually. But the easiest path to a national championship is a bye. Now, to say that, it also means you'd have to play an SEC championship game, which is a disadvantage, right? So while everyone else has off before their opening round playoff games, you're playing the SEC championship game. Now, what would suck is if you play the SEC championship game, lose, and then have to play in the first round, even if you're a host, because then you get no break. You don't get the bye either way. So going to the SEC championship game and losing is, I think, the biggest disadvantage. That's what you need to avoid. I would either want to be in the conference championship, win it so you get a bye, or not make the conference championship, because like LSU 2 years ago, going and losing to Georgia, that's the worst case scenario. Rusty, good morning. Thomas Lamont, good morning. Ready for the season to start. Hard to believe the Tigers are still going for their first season opening win of the decade. I think we'll get it. Hope so, man. 7-point favorite, but they've been a favorite in the last 4 that they've lost. Cody, good morning. Are you going to be at the pep rally at Circa the Friday before the Vegas game? I'm not planning on being there the Friday before, Cody. We are so doing my show Friday. After the show Friday, Erica and I and some friends and Russ Mitchell, we're going to dinner at SW Steak. And then Saturday, we're going to hit up one of the sports bars. Erica booked, I don't know where we're going, just to watch the early games. And then Saturday evening, we're going to be at Circa Swim to watch the Saturday night games, which should be a lot of fun. Trivia, what's good? Larry Garner, good morning. Christian, what do you think, over under 3 years before they scrap the G5 auto bid? I would go under. Yeah, I think 2 years of blowouts in that auto bid game probably does it. Charlie Cavell, what's up, man? Jason H., good morning. Kyle DeVille, good morning. Randy Dabdoob, curious to see why the segment with Taylor is so short. Any thoughts on making it longer? So the last segment of the hour, he's talking about Taylor Calandro in the final segment of hour number 1. So the last segment of the hour sometimes gets compressed because our breaks float, meaning they're not hard time. The only hard time break is the top of the hour. So when we go to the top of the hour, we hit that break at the end of Taylor's segment at 3:55:45. Actually, it's 3:55:42, and then we hit that 3-second stab where you hear AFR. sometimes it just gets compressed. Like instead of an 11-minute first segment, let's say I go 12 and a half minutes. And then instead of breaking at 26 in the second segment, I break at 29. Well, now all of a sudden, like that last segment, instead of being 12 minutes, maybe becomes 8 minutes, But I think that's enough time. I don't know that it needs to be I don't know that it needs to be longer than it is. But I'm always open to changing stuff. Sorry, read that one. Jason, switch it to Locked On's at 7:30. I could do that. I could do Morning Scone at 7 and then Locked On at 7:30. You do that. Or could just leave it. I don't know if the same people watching Locked On are the ones watching Morning Scone. There's some crossover, clearly, but I don't think that's the majority of the audience. Hey, Brian, good morning. Same to you, man. Have a great day. Mr. Wallace, good morning. I'm not ragging on Mike H, play-by-play. Could you apply for the position, please? Mr. Wallace, so that's Mike Hoss, who does the Saints play-by-play. I love doing play-by-play. Like, honestly, if like money, career, lifestyle, family, travel life, all that was equal, I would love to do play-by-play. That would be the thing I would want to do. At this point, it's just not practical for me. And especially, you mentioned Saints, but especially at LSU. When Jim Hawthorne retired, there were a lot of people that asked if I was going to apply. And there was a time in my life where that was my career goal. I wanted to be the LSU radio play-by-play guy. But to be very candid, that job is not a good job. That's not the right way to say it. Of course, it's a phenomenal job. You're the voice of the Tigers. Of course, it's a phenomenal job. What I mean is some of the circumstances surrounding it. Let me explain. So doing football, basketball, and you have to do football, basketball, and baseball. You have to do coaches shows for football, basketball, baseball as well. Your weekends are accounted for. I think it's something like 46 out of 52 weekends out of the year, something like that. You're accounted for, you have something, because football overlaps basketball, overlaps baseball, which goes all the way, which you hope, to the end of June, right? So you're working all those weekends, all but 6 weekends a year. The travel, especially for baseball, when you get to baseball season, you're driving for a 3-week, 3-night, you leave Thursday for a 3-night series, Friday, Saturday, Sunday in Starkville. You drive home after the game on Sunday. You have the coaches show on Monday, and then you're back calling a midweek game on Tuesday. It's just it's a lot. I think people don't realize. And then I don't think the pay isn't what most people would assume it would be. So I was totally not interested at all in that job whenever it came open. I think the Saints would be different because it's one game a week. But Mike Hoss has that job and will probably have it for as long as he wants it, man. But when he steps down, whenever that day is, if the situation's right and I have a chance to do it, I might apply for it. That would be awesome. All right, Carl the Cat, appreciate you, man. Brett, personally, since I work part-time on a graveyard shift, I like watching Locked On before Morning Scone, but it wouldn't be an inconvenience to watch it later. All right, man, it's good feedback. I appreciate it. Mostly, I think I set that time at 7 because that's what the Locked On people said was the time to do it. So, but I'm open to whatever. Hey, Dick Tilley, good morning. Hope you're doing great. Brian, nice piece you covered on Emery. Hope he has a good season. Are you still worried about running back? I'm only worried about running back, Brian, if they have an injury. Just because they're so thin. Texas is down to 3 scholarship running backs. Now, you can do it with 3 if they all stay healthy, but now you're a turned ankle away from really being in a tough spot. Dalton, do you think Ole Miss is overhyped this year due to schedule, or do people think they're actually an elite roster to compete for a natty? I feel like they're great, but not elite. Am I wrong? Well, only time will tell if you're right or wrong. I think Ole Miss very intentionally bolstered both lines of scrimmage, and that was probably a spot where they were weak. And then when you couple that with the schedule and a good coach and a 3-year starter at quarterback, there's a lot to like about Ole Miss. Like, I think they're a playoff team. I do. I would be very surprised if they're not. Carl the Cat, do you have date on launch of the website? Stay tuned, Carl the Cat. Whenever we do, I'll tell you this. My very ambitious target is the Saints play primetime Sunday night in San Francisco. And I want to be live for that because Ross is going to be doing a lot of live in-game content. And I want everybody to see how that works. And I think it's a great opportunity with a live primetime Saints preseason game. And then entering week 3 of fall camp, BK meeting with reporters on Saturday. And then, Monday being another media availability for fall camp. So I would love to be live for Sunday night, but we got a lot of work to do to get there. So I'll keep you posted. Chance, when you're alone in your car, do you listen to music, sports, or enjoy the quiet as you curse at traffic? Mostly quiet, or seriously, I just turn off the radio and I just drive home in silence, or I make phone calls. Eric, what's up, Eric Hart? Good morning. If you had a crystal ball to predict the future, which whiskey and wine show will T-Bob be the most intoxicating? Would have to be a night game. So I don't think it's South Carolina. I don't think it's one of the non-conference. I think there's a good chance A&M could fit that bill. Road game, probably a night game, middle of the season, so his body's not completely wrecked yet to where he's backing off. That's probably as he starts to ramp up. That's probably when he's hitting his crescendo, I would think. Let me go A&M. Rocky, how was Drew's first day at St. Louis? It was good, Rocky. A little confused when we walked into the new building for the first time. I walked him in. A little confused when he walked in for the first time, but thankfully same teacher as last year, Miss Cindy, who's awesome, Miss Claudette. So he saw some familiar faces, Emma Grace, who's in his class. So I think he did really well. Hey, Kelly Gross, good morning. Scott, good morning. Voting for the early start time. Okay, good to know. Thanks for the feedback. Y'all do me a favor, please smash that like button on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, Facebook, like the page, follow the page and all that stuff. Share the post. We appreciate you for being there. As always, shout out to BROC. You need an orthopedic, go to BROC. You need a roof, call PARISH. All of our sponsors are linked in the description on YouTube. So thanks for being there with us. And on Facebook, I will go back after the show as I do each day and I tag the sponsor. The reason I can't do it at the start is because we use the streaming software, StreamYard, which is why we have all the graphics and everything like that. So I can't edit that in StreamYard. I have to go into Facebook and I can't do that while we're live. So I have to do it afterwards. Well, let me see. Actually. Oh, I can do it on here. That's good. Oh, wait, hang on. I can do it right here. Okay. I just can't do it on mobile. Huh. Okay, good to know. Boom. Okay, good. Never mind. They're updated. Mike, good morning. How many teams are in the category of expected to play for a championship with Ohio State, Georgia? Also, is LSU in the next group of teams that could win it, but be a surprise? Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that top tier, if you just look at odds, let's see. So Georgia, Ohio State, Georgia's plus 300, Ohio State's plus 400, Oregon plus 800, Texas plus 800. So it's top four, really. Bama at 1,200, Ole Miss 1,400, then Notre Dame 25. LSU's 1,400 as well. Ole Miss and LSU are plus 1,400. Notre Dame plus 2,500. So kind of an idea. I would think those top four, Georgia, Ohio State, Oregon, Texas, and a little bit of a drop off before Bama, Ole Miss, LSU, Penn State, kind of in that next tier. Damon Taylor Hudson, good morning. Just joining. Just dropped off our firstborn William, first day of kindergarten. Wild times, man. Tears, or all smiles. How do we do? I'm not talking about William. I'm talking about you. Hope it's a great day, man. I'm sure it'll do great. Damon, I was watching Locked On. Thought it was starting at 8. Oh, sorry, this was starting at 8. Well, so Damon. Yesterday, so they had staggered entry at Drew School. So yesterday we had carpool, so started later. Today he's off. Tomorrow he's back, and then Monday the whole school's there. So tomorrow I'll probably try the show at 7 tomorrow. See how it goes, going like 7, 8, or 7. Maybe we'll do like 7:15 to 7:45. Maybe that's what I'll do. Club Ruckus, good morning. Make defense great again. If you have not watched the pivot yet, I need to. Jeremy, morning. How has Nuss's decision making been lately? I wasn't at practice yesterday, so I had a lunch meeting I had to speak at 11:30, and so practice availability is like 10 to 11:30 or 10:30 to 11:30 whenever they let us in. So I couldn't get there, get home, shower, get this anyway. So I couldn't go yesterday. So I'll be out there on Saturday, next meet availability. Barry, good morning. Michael Cook, Manny, what's going on? Very soon. Carl the Cat, my vote is Vegas. Oh, for T-Bob. No, see, the thing is, thank you, Brennan. Appreciate that, man. It's going to be fun. T-Bob's going to be lit for Ole Miss. That's a good guess as well, especially coming off a bye. Maybe that's the answer, coming off the bye. Yeah, because remember, the game's going to kick off at like 4:30 Vegas time. So it's not even going to be like a true night game, whiskey and wine feel for us being there. So I don't know that Vegas is the one, especially when we're going to have to leave, at the end of the third quarter to get over to the show. So anyway, Seth Rushing, what up? You think you and Jacques could do a podcast, talk about starting out cover LSU football? So Seth, as a matter of fact, I am going to be a guest on Jacques Talk. We're recording today. So I'm going over to Channel 9 at 1 o'clock today to record with Jacques. So I will be on a podcast with Jacques today. Make defense great again. Starting to feel a little more cautious optimism for the defense. I mean, I guess you'd have to just on a sliding scale, ask where on that sliding scale. Like, they will be better than last year. If for no other reason, they have simplified. And so I don't think you're going to see the gross amount of coverage busts you did a year ago. And that automatically makes you better. But the question is, how much better? And that I don't know the answer to. Like, do you go from 108th to 88th, or 108th to 58th, or 108th to 38th? I think that's kind of the range you're probably playing in. It probably falls in the middle. I mean, I think if you can go from 108th to 58th and be a top half defense in the country, right? I think that's a massive improvement from where you were a year ago, and I think that's plausible. Do you think South Carolina could be a trap game for LSU? Maybe. I just don't think South Carolina has enough talent. It's an 11 a.m. game on the road in the conference. It's always tricky, but I just don't think South Carolina has enough talent. That's a game where you could go and not play your best and probably still win. In my CFB 25 Dynasty, we played Notre Dame in the Natty, and Perkins won the Heisman. It's great. Awesome. Seth, what up, Matt? Oh, sorry. Let's see. Answered that one. Jamie Leday, what's good, man? All right. Appreciate y'all for being there. Let's wrap this thing up. Again, shout out to BROC and PARISH. You need North Peach, go to BROC. You need a roof, call PARISH. Unique Physique, semaglutide, tirzepatide, the once-a-week injections for weight loss. Everybody knows somebody that's on it, doing it, has done it. If you want to learn more, you can do the whole thing via telemed, and they'll ship your medicine anywhere in the country. So even if you're outside of Baton Rouge, Unique Physique can help you. Uniquephysique.com, uniquephysique.com. And Restored Motions, if you got pain. I've been telling you about Crystal Poche for years. Changed my life. I've tried everything for back pain over the years, and nothing has given me the type of relief that that Crystal's techniques have. So Restored Motions and restoredmotions.com. Okay, y'all have an awesome day. Locked on LSU is already live, so please go check it out on your favorite podcast app or on YouTube. And AFR3. See you. Y'all have a great day. Peace.